Hey y'all. So I am going to be filming like my birth some of my birth story. My testimony, that kind of ordeal. No. That was not cool. So I was born July 28th, 1995. I was born at 34 weeks vaginally, and the doctor said that delivered me said I wasn't gonna last a week. Okay, I feel like that's just washing me out. So because of that, I was in the NICU for I don't know how long. And then, obviously I lasted a week, but I had health and basically, not even basically, from here all the way back in my hair, my head when I was born was black. If you're a medical professional, you know that's not good. And then as I grew up, so in kindergarten, I grew up in a Christian household. My mother grew up Catholic, and my dad grew up Protestant. So they wanted to find a denomination that would fit both of their values, and Presbyterian USA at that time fit those values. So that's what we were raised. And then in kindergarten, I had epilepsy in childhood all the way up to 3rd grade. I was on medicine up until 3rd grade. Not 3rd grade, I'm sorry, y'all, 4th grade. Then stopped that, still continued with the ADHD medicine and just, your typical kid vitamins. If you know, the kid vitamins in the early 2000s were way better than the kid vitamins that they have now. Way better. Probably not better for you, but taste-wise, it was better. So that happened. Then at the age of 10, I had my first SI thought. I'm not going to go into SI, HI, or self-harm, like what I did, how those came about, in graphic detail, because I don't want to trigger anybody, just like I wouldn't want someone to trigger me. As you can see by my eyes, they float there. I have stigmas and stegmas in both eyes. That's been an issue my entire life. I recently just had eye surgery on this eye to straighten it. So hopefully y'all can see that. I will be jumping all over the place. Sorry in advance. So I stayed at Lakeside Presbyterian Church up until we moved, up until the age of 13, so 2009. Elementary was perfectly fine for me. I loved elementary school. Middle school rolls around. The end of elementary, so like 4th and 5th grade, I hated, because that's when the bullying started to progress. They would call me Tory germs, make fun of me, say I was cussing out deaf people and stuff like that. If I put on chapstick or lip gloss, they'd be like, ew, she's eating it. Crap like that. And then in 6th grade, 2 weeks before school started, I got my period. Very traumatic. Then That's also when my self-harm started. The SI thought that I had in 5th grade, I just ignored it. It went away. I knew not to talk about the creation story because that's what triggered the thought to begin with. I was very particular on not drinking at 21 and no premarital sex. Stay tuned. So, and at in middle school, there was a retreat that we called Montreat that all of our middle schoolers went to for the most part. My last year for Memory Montreat, I had my youth leader as my leader of our small group. Well, your small group is kids from adults from all over the country. And it was held actually at Presbyterian College. I don't know if they still do that, so leave a comment if they still do that. I know they still do it at Montreat College in North Carolina for the high schoolers. I don't know about middle school. So that would be during the year I was here spiritually, and then at Montreat I was here. And then I would crash. The devil had everything to do with it. Also, the people that I hung around, the music I listened to, all played a factor in that. And then my parents break the news that we are moving to Georgia. I think I probably took it the hardest. Because I had somewhat of an established friend group here in Kentucky where most of my life was based out of. Most of my childhood was based out of. And then we moved to Georgia. That summer I was completely depressed, didn't want to eat, just stayed in my room and organized my room like a psycho OCD person. Then, and spiritually, I was at a somewhat decline. And then I did another year of 8th grade. Then high school rolls around, and at my church, my mentor, for time's sake, we're gonna call her Miss C. Yes, Miss, and then the letter C. She led our group probably all the way up to senior year. Also ignore the fly that's in my room. And so I grew spiritually a lot. I thought I was spiritually strong, blah, 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 blah. I go to college. Keep in mind, my SI, HI, and self-harm are just going out of control. So is my mental health at this time. So at this time, I have generalized anxiety, ADHD, and clinical depression. And about 7th or 8th grade, 7th grade, I would skip lunches. 8th grade, I would eat 2 breakfasts. One at home and then one at the school, because my parents refused to buy Pop-Tarts. Oh my goodness, that is gonna drive me crazy. Anyway, so that all took place. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but just bear with me. So I attended Liberty University for a month. I know I've mentioned Liberty on here briefly. At the time, I had another channel that had all of my Liberty vlogs on it. And being the stupid, immature, naive person that I was, I deleted that channel and created this channel. Which is probably good that I deleted that content, because it could have been very triggering. Because half the videos I made are just cringeworthy. And I know it's not just me who thinks that, because I have not had any views for 4 months now. Y'all, that's insane. So I go to Liberty. I take 2 doses of my night medicine. This is before I had like a pill organizer to organize all my meds. And I wasn't trying to kill myself. I think I was a bit manic, maybe. I'm just really, really, like, it probably was mania, because I wasn't eating, but I was eating enough to take my medication. So I chose to get help, to seek professional help. I was in a psych ward for about a week, came home here to Georgia. If you don't know, Liberty University is in Lynchburg, Virginia. Okay. This bug's gonna drive me insane. Where the hell did you... Sorry, okay. Focus. So while I was there, I got the help I needed, medically withdrew from Liberty University. Got a degree from Georgia Military College. Stayed there for probably what's equivalent to a bachelor's degree, but I have 2 associate's degrees. One in early childhood education, and then one in IT. So in the process of getting the IT degree, I had a manic episode June 30th, the week of June 30th, 2021. It's before the pandemic, like, spiraled out of control, basically. And then when I stayed in a homeless shelter for a week up in Omaha, Nebraska, and then came back on the 4th of July, gave everybody COVID, including my very old, we'll just say, grandparents. Got new diagnosis. So bipolar 1, generalized and social anxiety, PTSD, eating disorder unannounced, because I will fluctuate between anorexic and binge eating, and clinical / like seasonal depression. But during the week that I was gone, God was there the entire time. He was working through me. Like, all I craved was his attention. Then, before I gave trust to a parent, I trusted my sister. Which still to this day, she loves to throw that. Tori trusts me more than she trusts you guys. That kind of ordeal. And basically God whispered in my ear saying, go home. Go home. You're done here. Go home. And it was a very soft, warm whisper. I got a warm feeling about it. But at the same time, I was scared. You know, I was scared to go home. I didn't know how my parents would react. Because last time I saw my parents in Georgia, they came banging on the door and I called cops on them, saying that they were abusing me. They weren't. So that's how that unfolded. In 2023, I was spiraling out of control again, not really with mania, more or less my medicines weren't working the way that they were supposed to work. So I spent 6 months in residential, I was going from Skyland Trail, Anchor Hospital, and Peachtree City Wellness Solutions. Now, I filmed a little bit at Skyland. Anchor Hospital was basically for like homeless people. So that didn't really help me for that week of medical management. During this time, the fall time, actually no, the fall of 2022, I decided, with the helping guidance of my family, of God, that I want to become Catholic. Now, keep in mind, before this, in high school, the church split off because of homosexuality, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So I stayed with the 80% of believers, including our priest, that formed Evergreen Church. I stayed there for about 2 or 3 years, finishing up high school. Then after high school, I went to Southside Church. Got baptized at Southside, got baptized at Liberty, but at Liberty I was doing it for attention. Southside I wasn't. I was like truly like, hey, I'm ready. Then hopped on over to One Church, which before was Heritage Christian Church. Then went back and forth between One Church and Crossroads. I don't have hate against either church. Southside, I had a lot of negative experiences, not to mention I was very immature. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna wrap it up there. So I'm officially Catholic. I became Catholic in 2023. I'm still new to the faith, so cut me some slack if you've been around the faith a little bit longer. This is really none of y'all's business, but I did lose my V card after high school, but like in that in-between phase. Satan was really tempting me. He's like, well, everybody does it. The world wouldn't care if you lost it. And so I lost it. Was really lost mentally. Not to mention I had a criminal as a psychiatrist who's now in jail. Thanks, Dr. Price. And then I had a male doctor who basically said if I did not take Rexulti, he would not help me. So I did. The drug obviously didn't help. And in 2017, I keep saying 2018, but it's really 2017, I spent a whole year at West Georgia. Medically withdrew from that school as well. The week of Thanksgiving. And just went back to my roots. I know I was jumping around all over the place. I'm trying not to have this video be like 25 minutes long. So yeah, bye.